I have got a juicy upload for you guys in store today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog, and welcome to the day that we're gonna mess with that box right there. But I cannot wait. But before we get to that, boys, I just gotta show you, the Duramax squad is so real at the house today. We're talking classic body style LBZ Duramax, 2021 AT4 and 2022 High Country Duramax. Look at the brotherhood, the brethren that's occurring right here at the homestead. Boys and girls, it is an absolutely glorious day, and the fall vibes are oh so familiar. So before we get into that box and whether or not it pertains to that truck or that truck, I gotta show you guys all the changes that took place over the course of the weekend. There's been a lot of work that's been accomplished, and I'm so freaking proud of it, boys. I really wanted to film so much more, but I was tied between a rock and a hard place because I'm a one-man band on the weekend. I didn't want to bother Jake, let him hang out with his girlfriend for a little while, let him enjoy the leisure of life. So we were out here making it happen Saturday all day. We had a U35 Mini X up here with a 12-inch trenching bucket, and trench we did. We got a lot of digging done, and I hit no lines. Of course, I called 811 beforehand. That's the safe thing to do. Call before you dig because it's the best insurance that you could ever have. That's a fun fact. Wherever they mark 18 inches around that line is the intolerable space, meaning that if you hit a line 18 inches within that mark, it's on you. But if you're 19 inches off of that mark, then it's on them. It means that the line was marked incorrectly and you are not at fault. To my excavators out there, who's hit a line before? Be honest, guys. It's okay. Humility is bliss. Lessons are learned sometimes the hard way in life. I hit a line. I'm gonna admit it right now to the whole internet, to all my subscribers, to my family. It was when we had the KX80 up here before any of this stuff even existed. I hit a line and it cost me a few $1,000s to fix. It was a long story, but the excavator came up 3 days earlier and it happened to be on a weekend, and I could have the machine for 2 days for a 1 day rate, and I jumped on it and I just was an idiot at times. I made a mistake, and you know what? I own up to it. It is what it is, but I didn't make those mistakes this time around, and we did a lot of digging, so I guess you might say that the lesson's been learned. But here's how things look now. So we've skipped around a little bit in the sequence. I worked all day Saturday, was out here at 5 a.m. on Sunday morning because they were calling for rain. I didn't want my trenches to fall in or cave in. So we've got all the piping laid, and now we've got Jake running the 90, and Jake is doing a great job of running the 90. We are doing a little bit of cleanup over here that I'm gonna get into very shortly because I think it's important that you guys know why. But before we go there, let's talk about here. Here's my transformer box. We've got 4-inch conduit coming out of it that runs 110 foot over to the side of the building where our 200 amp service is going to service the building. The meter will go on the outside, the panel will go on the inside, and that's where it will have its own separate service from the house. I wanted to run it separate just that way I could keep track of things, as I am an independent business owner. Any business owners out in the audience probably know exactly why that is, and it's very important. In this trench, I also ran out a future conduit. That has no specific intent right now, but I think the intent's going to be, once I clean up what I like to say is my own little private island that I own right here in God's country, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, I'd like to provide service to this area once it's all cleaned up for future lighting and things along those lines. So I figured the hole was there, I might as well just knock it all out while we're in there. So that's done. Coming on over to my well situation. We need water, right? And water comes from wells happens when you own a piece of property like mine. We don't have public water here. I have 2 wells though. I lucked out. I landed this property not with 1 well, but 2 wells. This well does not have a pump in it, so I actually ran a conduit over to this one as well, and as well, get it? And a water line for future use case purposes. Now let's step into the building here. We've got some shade provided by the front part of the roof, which is extremely nice, I'm not gonna lie. Something I can get used to. Pardon that beautiful Kubota turbo diesel roaring away here in the background. Here is our conduit that I ran to the house. So I've got the 2 conduits I just showed you guys and 2 water lines, one to that well over there and another one to the primary service of the shop, which is going to be to my house. And then I've got 3 more conduits, 1, 2, 3, that also go back to the house. That was as per the recommendation of some very good friends that have my best interest in mind, that said, look, Jack, if you're gonna run a building like this on your property, make sure that you can connect it to your house in the future if need be. So I ran 3 1.25 inch conduits to J boxes there on the side of the house that go into the basement. So if we ever need to suck a string line through and pull a 10-2 wire or something along those lines, we'll be able to do it. I'm already thinking about connecting some lights externally through a switch in the house to the building so I can light it up when I'm up at 4 in the morning, because I'm a little crazy and, well, I choose not to be normal, but it's a choice that I make for myself. Being that we're on the topic of utilities, there's our stubbed up conduit pipe. That is gonna chill there, and the meter, like I said, will go on the outside. And then as you guys can see, I've been working on getting my gas line installed. We had to stop here because we still need to do a waste line, which is gonna come right in between the gas line and our 4-inch conduit out and over to my septic system. That needs to go 36 inches down, so it's below the freeze line, because up here in Pennsylvania, freezing, it does. But for the time being, I've stubbed in where I want my propane line to be. The plan is to run it right across here out to my utility closet, which is where everything's stubbed up, as you see there. And then out the back, I think I'm gonna bury a tank somewhere out in this remote region. I've got probably about another 25 foot of hose, so I should be good to have a little bit of variety in my placement of selection. Another thing that I'm gonna run completely separate from my house, that way, in the event of needing to track said expenses, it's gonna be a little easier because we can watch our consumption from the building and then we can watch our consumption from the house. We have propane that services the house now, and I'm thinking about getting a 500-gallon tank and then burying it right back in the rear end of the building so we're all ready to rock and roll. I have pretty much decided on radiant floor at this point in time. We're gonna do 2 zones. One's gonna be the recreation space zone, and then the second zone will be the primary shop. The manifold and all of the radiant will stub up in that same utility closet area where everything is coming together, which will basically be the central command station and or brain for our building. We also took the liberty when we had 2 machines up here between Jake and I on Labor Day. No, we did not take Labor Day off. We did as Americans do on Labor Day, and we labored to celebrate the working man, only for a few hours though, and then we enjoyed the rest of the day. So Jake and I were up here. I was on the U35. It was my last day I had it, and Jake was on the 90. He was working on what he's finishing up now, and I took the liberty to try and get some gravel into the building. It's not perfect right now by any stretch of the imagination, but it does one thing, and one thing very well. It gets us out of the dirt, which is a beautiful step in the right direction, because this pad is so compacted that it holds rain and moisture forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And that is really annoying when it rains as frequently as it does this time of the year. So now that brings us to Jake's project, and he is doing such a good job. I'm really proud of him. He never ran equipment in his entire life other than a forklift before starting to hang out with us here on the channel, and he's getting really proficient at this thing. We had some grading issues over here on the side of the house, which was not good because we were collecting a lot of water right in this general vicinity, and especially now that we've got this massive displacement of a 4,800 square foot building, it was all running off because our gutters aren't on and coming right here. So now we've cut in a swale. We're grading up about 2 foot on the side of the house because the grade here was just garbage by whoever did that beforehand, which Jake has been utilizing a lot of the extra fill dirt I have in the back of my property for, and then we're going to be spreading some topsoil to continue my grass growing operation. I say it's an operation because it seems like a never-ending process, and operations typically depend on processes, so that's my corporate comment of the day. So now, boys and girls, let's talk trucks, shall we? We have 2 elite Duramaxes in different cloaks here in the driveway. We've got a fully blacked out 2022 High Country with 91 miles on it, brand new spanking new. Haven't actually even ever driven it once. I guess you can say I've been slacking. And then, of course, we've got my GMC, the AT4. I absolutely love this truck, and it's seen some changes. Changes being that box in there, which we'll get to in just a second. But let me introduce you guys to a few things that we did to this truck. We've since done a few things to Misfit, and I couldn't go without sharing them with all of you guys. It was kind of one of those things where with the building, it's been really difficult to schedule time for other things, so when small opportunity windows pop up, boom, we just make them happen. So the truck spent a little bit of time after we picked up Convict from its absolutely insane chalk gray wrap color transformation to give this truck a little bit of love since it's been adopted into the fleet. First things first, Brody hooked us up with an epic paint correction and 5-year Opticoat ceramic coating. So we are not only at that nice reflective finish all the way around, this truck's gonna be a way easier wash. Black is awesome, but it is very difficult to keep clean. You can see it's already starting to gather a whole bunch of dust and debris up here on the hood just from some of the construction that's been happening. So that coating will make things awesome. And this GM Onyx Black just hits so different when it's properly cleaned. Another mod that you guys can see is we added some darker tint up front to pretty much match the back 5% all the whole way around, so things are nice and murdered out. And last but not least, definitely not least, got one more thing. We added some amp power research steps. I didn't know actually if I could retrofit the factory ones on. I ordered those like weeks and weeks and weeks ago when I first got the truck, and they had just arrived, so we threw them on. Very helpful because these trucks sit super high. They're very tall compared to the previous generation like the OG 2.0. And truly last is we had our man Cole do a starlit headliner in Misfit as well. It's the same thing as Convict, 1,000 pieces, just scattered a little bit different, so I wanted to show it to you guys because it's pretty epic. This little headspace right here for passengers makes for what feels like a black hole effect when you're looking at all the twinkles through those LED diodes. They look absolutely sweet. And I've got it set on the white setting, which pretty much matches all the white interior lights as well. And it's cool, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I have it on all of the time. It sets a mood, and my son absolutely loves it. Funny story, we were going somewhere this morning, and typically when I open the back passenger door, he's looking at me smiling. This time around, he was like completely mesmerized by those LEDs. It's a really cool mod that sets an epic vibe inside the truck. That is for sure. Okay, guys, I feel like I had to catch you up on all those things because I missed one upload this last week. I apologize for that, but being that it was Labor Day, somewhat of a American holiday, if you will, I wanted to spend it not only getting caught up out here so we can continue to make progress on the pole building build, but I spent the later part of the afternoon with the family, and I did not film anything for Tuesdays. But we got some pretty exciting news. Lots of you guys have been wondering what it is that I had in store for this truck as my new daily, and I'm excited to say that yes, in fact, we are tuning Misfit, and I'm really excited about this, guys. Something that I've wanted to do for a very long time, but we're finally getting around to it now. If you guys don't know, this truck, 2021 Duramax, completely stock powertrain and drivetrain right now. All we got is level wheels, tires, tint, and some of the other things that I just gone over with you guys. So this is going to open up the truck a lot, no pun intended, because we have to literally open it up to swap out the ECM. As you guys can see, there's a whole process that our friends over at Duramax Tuner shared with us to make this happen, and I am super pumped about it. So yes, we are going to be tuning the truck, and this is a really exciting tune that has something rather proprietary, which is shift on the fly, and I'm going to explain to you guys how that works. But there's a huge disclaimer, boys and girls, we are not going to be deleting Misfit. I know some of you are probably going to raise hell about that. You're going to roast me in the comments section and say, well, tuning your truck is completely pointless. And while I get that, yes, I love the diesel smell. I have an 1100 horsepower compound turbo Cummins, and I've bought plenty of used trucks that are already tuned with an exhaust. I just didn't see it as anything that made sense for me to do personally. As for my daily, I really like this truck being quiet. Now, a lot of you might argue that, and if it's your only truck, I completely get that. You want it to make sounds, whatever the case is, it's your decision. You decide however it is that you want to handle that. But for me and my daily, I actually enjoy it because I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I wake up really early. I don't want to be disrupting my child or potentially waking him up when he's sleeping when I go to the gym at 4:30 in the morning, which I do 5 days a week. So now that that gets us out of the way, we are going to be doing emissions intact tuning by Duramax Tuner, and I'm pretty pumped about it, guys. So that's a cracked ECM by HP Tuners. We are going to use the MPVI2, which is HP Tuners' proprietary little OBD2 plug-and-play unit that will allow us to upload the tunes from Duramax Tuner, and we're going to be doing shift on the fly. So it's going to get us an array of tunes that are all switchable right from the controls on the steering wheel, and that I'm super pumped about. I also just learned that shift on the fly tuning is relatively new as a somewhat proprietary complement to Duramax Tuner, and I'm excited to be able to take the truck, put it in a tow tune when we're hauling my 32-foot tandem dual PJ, hydraulic dovetail, or throwing it in more of a spicy tune when I actually want to get the hell out of the way when I'm on the highway or whatever the case might be. And I'm really excited to see what emissions intact tuning actually has the capability of, rather than just one of those plug and play things that you see advertised online. So once this thing's tuned, which won't be in this video, I apologize guys, I just don't have time to get around to it, we're gonna have 5 tunes. It's gonna be an optimized stock tune, a heavy tow tune, a light tow tune, a street tune, and a sport tune. My plan is to basically run the truck during normal driving conditions on the street tune, which is gonna net me 100 more horsepower, 180 more foot-pound of torque, and it's gonna completely get rid of the dead pedal, which if you have one of these brandy spanking new trucks, the dead pedal is a ridiculous phenomenon that nobody likes to experience, and it really is quite a dead weight on your driving experience. And as my OGs know, we are no stranger to Duramax Tuner here on the channel. Not only are we now experimenting with their emissions intact tuning for the first time, we are very familiar with their Stealth series of turbos, which we've outfitted countless of our previous trucks with. They're a great company, great genuine people over there, and honestly, in my opinion, that's all you could really ask for. So that's where we're gonna wrap up this upload, ladies and gentlemen. Stay on the lookout for the announcement of Dream Diesel giveaway number 19 winner. Expected announcement dates between the 13th and the 17th of September, plus Dream Diesel giveaway number 20 is right around the corner. I cannot wait to debut what we've got in store, boys and girls. That's gonna be coming right here in the middle of September. So mark your calendars, hit that subscribe button, like button, and notification bell if you haven't already, and I'll see y'all in the next upload.